What's up, AD? It's Kevin Love. Happy to have you guys here. Let's go check out my place. So initially I chose New York City because when I was 17, 18 years old, I actually wrote in a journal that I would have a New York apartment by the time I turned 30 years old. So when I was 29, actually only a few months before I turned 30, it was June 13th of that year, my birthday, September 7th, I had signed, taken the keys, and kind of the rest is history. So that was a dream come true for me. All right, so this is something that kind of, I guess not in my life, but when people come in here, it kind of gets overlooked. And that is the Macintosh record player here. This is one of the, actually a 30th birthday present, but something that I had to have. Music is such a huge part of my life. I feel like a lot of people know that my uncle is Mike Love of the Beach Boys. My cousins are the Wilsons, so I think that kind of leveraged me and put me into a space where music always had to be a part of my life and kind of helps tell that personal narrative in a big way. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't play that. And then in this space here, we wanted to be able to separate not only the living space, but also make it some sort of like a screening or TV room where we can watch our shows, we can watch our movies. I'll jump over here, and from 2016. So this moment was when the game clock finally went off. Everything struck zero. We had won the game, and I think a number of us embraced after this, and this is one of my favorite photos from that time because you just see complete elation. From coming back from 3-1, Cleveland having a 52-year drought of a major sports championship, everything that went into that, it was just a really special time and something that I'll stick out for the rest of my life as the year that we won the championship. You can never take that away from us. As I said, really cool way to separate the space, whereas it turns into kind of like a little screening area. So we thought this was a really great use of the space and something that could kind of change at the drop of a hat. And then I got to mention these, these amazing Navajo print carbon fiber Ralph Lauren chairs. And it's funny because we were trying to expedite the process and finish this room and say, hey, listen, Ralph, we need the chairs ASAP. And they kind of came back at us and said, hey, listen, you're not the only ones waiting for him. Ralph is actually waiting for him as well, so you'll get him after him. So this table is actually really special. If you look at some of the details, it's actually hand stitched, and you can see it running linear all the way across and underneath. So they took these two pieces of wood and just made it a really beautiful centerpiece and table. So I loved the idea of having a sculpture in this space, especially in taking advantage of some of the square footage. And having an Anthony Gormley sculpture was something that I had always wanted, and making us kind of conceptualize our space and look inward beneath the skin. And that's kind of work that I've been doing over the past several years. I kind of bought it, not even considering that at the time. And I love how the light hits it. So now we'll go into my favorite room, which was the second bedroom, but I wanted to make a space for me where it could be like a safe haven. I decided to make it an office for myself, a place where I could work outside of the lines and outside of the realm and the world of basketball. So I could come here and work on, many other different mediums and things that, I love. But a lot of journaling, a lot of reading, a lot of working, on my fund. More than anything, just a creative and safe space where I can come and really just be myself. So this is probably my favorite piece. Why I chose to put it here is because it's so powerful, especially in the context of the world that we're living today, whether it be COVID, whether it be social injustice, even the wildfires out west, all the way through the election. It just shows you that this time that we're navigating becomes more and more complex, and I think that's really what Rashid Johnson wanted to show here. I mean, it's very unique, and he's very unique in his own struggle, but also understanding that we all share this anxious audience. We all share these anxieties, and while that does hold true, that each person individually is suffering in their own right as well. So I wanted to mirror Rashid's piece with Gordon Parks' work from the 1950s, and he did a series of a number of these photos of segregation of the South and having people be aware of the struggle in this country, especially when it comes to African Americans and Black Americans. So I felt it was really important to have this in the space and understanding, this is almost kind of mirroring it with today and today's anxieties with, I guess this is 1956, Mississippi at a drinking fountain. You can see colored only, white only, and this is so complex in itself. So, I could sit here and talk about, this forever, but this room is just a constant reminder of, how much, I guess, as a collective we, how much we still have to get ahead of, and still so much we have to overcome, just as humans, as it's Black, white, or other. It's just really powerful to be in this room and find inspiration and know that our job is not done, it's not finished. But just put a lot of friends, maybe family here, as well as my late grandmother who passed, a big part of my story. While it seems to be a little bit of heaviness in this room, it also is a very inspiring place where I come to get to work. I don't really get to rest in here. I like to get to work and start to build things. And I know that, these people are part of my story and they'll be with me to the end. So that makes it fun. Now we're taking you from the living room and the dining room into the kitchen. The beauty of this space is, and one of the main reasons that I picked this particular floor and unit was because of the sightline. I really love the idea of looking at the trees, the water, the cityscape, and the sky. Still feeling like we were super grounded in New York City in a major way. And the beauty of buying this place pre-built was that we got to have some sort of saying in the construction. The biggest undertaking that we did and we were able to actually get done was opening up this sightline in the kitchen. Originally there was supposed to be a wall here all the way across. We rewrapped the hood, and then if you come over here, little baby girl Vestry comes and eats her food in the morning. We might come down, take a little seat, read, finish texts, finish emails, and just take advantage of the space. So this bench was a very, very big deal for us. And then, of course, in any kitchen, if you spend any time around me, you got to have wine. It's one of my favorite bottles. It's a good year, 2010. Chateau Matum Rothschild. I hate trying to say the names. I think JJ Redick and I had talked about that at length, but also an AD alum. We've shared a lot of wine together, shared a lot of wine with my friends, and one thing I always say, if you're with me, you're going to eat well and you're going to drink well. So a lot of great bottles here. As you can see, some of the inventory is out because COVID has been a time where we've shared a lot of bottles. So next we just have a very cozy guest bedroom. This is actually the third bedroom in the place. Really love the reclaimed oak here. It's actually out of Oregon. Just amazing to always have a feeling of the elements around. I mean, I come from a place where Pacific Northwest, there's just pine trees, Douglas firs, all sorts of wood everywhere. So to have that component, I just always love having it around. It feels like a breath of fresh air. It gets pretty dark in here as well because it faces the courtyard. Sometimes I come in here and just shut off, take a little nap, but we need people to rest if they're coming to visit here because New York can be fun. All right, so now we're gonna head into the bedroom. Kind of a his and hers across the way. Open this up a little bit. Custom Ralph pinstripe suit, double-breasted. Can't go wrong. Listen, it's not that I'm a Yankees fan. I love New York. I think the luxury and the best thing that New York has going for them is their New Yorkers. So I love that. And then just a number of pieces across the board. Army fatigue, love my denims, but I'm a hoodie, flannel guys. You can see the trees here as well. There's just a lot to this space that I really love, and the idea of taking advantage of this closet because it's few and far between when it comes to New York City. So I mentioned briefly a few times just bringing a number of places in my life to the fold here in the apartment. So this is done by people in Cleveland. So we had to bring them into the fold and just add to that rugged and rustic feel to the apartment. All right, so now the actual bedroom. What I love here is the Pendleton prints, just reupholstering this bench in a way that it was still very functional, but the aesthetic here is crazy. We love this. And then matching it in a lot of ways with Vestry's bed. So this was made particularly for her. She loves it. We can put this anywhere in the apartment. She's going to go sit on that. Another beautiful thing that we wanted was exposed brick. Just adds a certain element and a certain feel that makes you feel like you're in the grittiness of New York City. Whereas the office space is a place where I really get to work. It's kind of like a sanctuary for me. This is where I can really woosah, take a deep breath and just relax. All right, so you guys have seen most of the place, but I couldn't have you leave without meeting the other two stars of the show, and Kate.
Hello.
And Vestry. Come on, girl. Don't be shy.
It's okay.
Good girl. Good girl. She wants some wine,
Want some
huh?
wine?
All right, AD, thank you so much for letting us show you our space. We got to take Vestry on a walk. We got to enjoy this wine. We're going to get back to the rest of our day. Thank you.